guys. Okay, so today we're going to start a brand new chapter in math, and it's actually our very last chapter, which is so exciting, and we are going to take some time to learn about some 3D shapes. So I'm going to try to make this super quick and fun for you. I do some really BAD pictures that I'm going to show you guys, and we're going to do our best here, and I have a cool challenge for you at the end, so just stay tuned and you'll hear what it is. So I'm going to teach you guys a couple new words. And I'm going to show you a couple new shapes, and then I'm going to show you my challenge, so it'll be pretty quick. The first new word that I'm going to teach you guys is the word three-dimensional. Three-dimensional. Three-dimensional is, I want you guys to say that, three-dimensional. It tells you what your shape looks like, pretty much. Three-dimensional, sometimes we say 3D. That's kind of an ugly D, huh? It doesn't look like a D, maybe like a P. 3D. Three-dimensional or 3D means that it is not flat. It kind of sticks out a little bit, and you can feel it, and it has a bunch of different sides to it. So if you think about it, I wonder if any of you guys have ever heard of or been to a 3D movie before. If you go to a 3D movie, you walk in the movie theater and you put glasses on and you sit down in your movie theater, and if you sit back in your chair in a normal movie, it looks really flat on the screen. That's a 2D movie, but if you put your 3D glasses on, all of a sudden the pictures in the movie come out at you and they look like they're going to grab you. And it's not flat anymore. It looks like there's a bunch of different sides to those people. So that's what three-dimensional means. It just means that it's not flat, which is pretty cool. Another word that I'm going to teach you guys, or that we need to really pay attention to when we're doing this, is the word faces. Kind of like this. Point to your face. Faces just means kind of like the sides of a three-dimensional shape. A face is like kind of like a side of a three-dimensional shape. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a couple different three-dimensional shapes, and we're going to talk about what those shapes look like, what their faces look like, and then kind of some special things about them that help us tell the different shapes apart. So the first shape that we're going to talk about is, let's talk about this one. It's called a cube. So if you look at this, you can't really see it because you're not in real life, but you can kind of tell that this isn't really just like a flat piece of paper. This is, it's got a bunch of different sides. I'm holding it in my hand. When you see, look at the shadow, you can see there's a side here and a side here, and then there's like a top side up here. This first shape is called a cube. A cube. A cube has 6 square faces. 6 square faces. So if you look at your cube, this is the face right here. It's kind of just that flat edge like this. That is one face right there. And if I look at my square just kind of like dead on, if I'm looking at it and you can't really tell that it's 3D, if you just look at that flat face, it looks like a square. You can tell, oh, all of those sides are equal. They're all equal. So this face is a square. 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 The top is a square. And the bottom is a square. So every single face on your cube is a square. Okay? And cubes have 6 different squared faces. That's what makes a cube. I was thinking about cubes, and I was like, I wonder if the kids have ever seen one before. And sure enough, you guys totally have. If you've ever played with a dice before, you've played with a cube. Sometimes when you guys like move, or if you like get something from the store, it comes in a box. Boxes can be cubes. And then sometimes presents or gifts can be cubes too. Not all the time on these two, but a dice is definitely a cube. So that is our first shape. The second shape that we're going to talk about is this shape right here. So I know it's really hard to tell. It's hard to see, but this is called a cone. I don't know if you guys have ever had an ice cream cone, but that's exactly what this is. So a cone has a circle face. If you look at that like really close, just at the top, it's a circle. And it has something called a point at the bottom. a point. So my circle face is here at the top, and then it kind of gets like narrow down until it meets here at a point. That's your cone. And cones are kind of easy to tell because we all the time eat ice cream cones. So you guys have probably seen this one before. This one might be easy to recognize. Some other cones that you might see might be maybe a party hat. Maybe if you've ever seen road construction before, they have cones on the road sometimes. And then I drew a picture of a carrot too, because a carrot is another kind of cone that we see around our house. So there is a cone for you. The next shape that I want to talk about is called a cylinder. This is a cylinder. So a cylinder, it has a square face. I mean, that's not a square. Yikes. A cylinder has a circle face too, but instead of it meeting at a point, it looks like it stays all the same side, and then it has a second square face on the bottom. So if I was gonna, I could hold it flat in my hand like that because it has two square faces. I mean, goodness gracious, those are not squares. These are circles. I'm so sorry. Two circle faces. Oh, brother, I'm in trouble. Circle face, not a square. Circle face, not a square. Get that in my brain. Circle faces here. So some cylinders maybe that you might see around your house are cans of like beans or cans of vegetables. Some of the cylinders that I found that I wanted to show you, this is a coffee cup. I mean, this part is not really part of the cylinder, but you can tell I have a circle face here. I have a circle face on my bottom, and I know it's really white, so you can't tell. And it's kind of curved all around the side. There's no more faces here because of that circle. There is a cylinder, and then this one's a really skinny one, but a pencil, an unsharpened pencil, is actually a cylinder too, which is pretty cool. I have a little small circle face here and a little small circle face here, and it's really, really long and skinny, but it's still a cylinder, which is pretty cool. The next shape that we're going to talk about is this one here. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, Mrs. Knight, that's a cube. We've already seen that one. No, it is not a cube. This is a cube. This is not. And I know it's super hard to see, but they're not the same. Maybe this way it is. Cubes have 6 square faces, and this is called a rectangular prism. A rectangular prism has 6 faces like a cube, except instead of them being squares, a rectangular prism has rectangle faces. Just kind of like this one is really easy to tell. Oh, that's a rectangle, right? That's kind of a rectangle. So that's a rectangular prism for you. I drew another picture of this one here. There you go. So some rectangular prisms in my house that I could find was maybe like this little Christmas tin here. It looks kind of like a square on the front, but when I turn it on the side, is that a square? No, that's a rectangle. So I know that this one is a rectangular prism. Another rectangular prism that maybe you guys might have in your house, oh, I dropped it, is a book. This is a Bible. This is a rectangular prism. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides made out of rectangles. So if you have a book in your house, you have a rectangular prism. I'm going to make another video in a little bit to show you a couple more shapes that are, important to know, but they're not as important as these other shapes. And I just wanted to go over them all one more time for you. So we have a cone here. A cone has 1 circle face and a point at the end. A rectangular prism has 6 rectangular faces. A cylinder has 2 circle faces, and it's kind of curved around the sides there. And then we have our cube here. And our cube has 6 square faces. Here is my challenge for you guys. I went around my house and I tried to find some cubes, tried to find some cones, tried to find some rectangular prisms, and I tried to find some cylinders. And I grabbed them all and I brought them in my room. And some of them were hard. For some reason in my house, I just could not find any cubes at all. So I just drew pictures of cubes that I knew. And I couldn't find any cones either. I had like a hard time finding cones at my house. So I want you guys now to stop this video and go in your house, and I want you to try to find some of those different three-dimensional shapes. And if you do, make a big pile, and then I want you to label which one is a cone, which one is a rectangular prism, which one is a cylinder, and which one is a cube. And then take a picture of it and tell your mom and your dad to send it to me. I think that'd be so cool. I want to see what kind of shapes you guys have in your house. And then that way it'll help it get stuck in your brain. It'll be easier for you guys to remember those different shapes. Okay, I know this was a really long video. You guys did awesome. You guys are going to do so good on this three-dimensional shape unit, and I am so proud of you. Bye!